then my friends decided I was still gonna help some. I gave my uncle survivor a rent and pension. So hopefully they will accept it. Cause I think them good people, them good people. I actually I have to have something up against my back even though I'm sitting on um a couch. I have to have something supporting my back. So this is the plastic. It's one of my other ones rolls. Um, I see someone here. Um, just so I'm not sure what I want this channel to be about, and I really need your help, guys. I need to know what you want me to talk about, like what you want me to focus on. Um, I kind of did a live earlier tonight where I talked about grief and depression, and while I don't know, the live last night, it was really good. It just brought um just some feelings that I haven't dealt with in a minute, so I just kind of had to um get on here and just explain that a little bit. And nothing, no, nothing against Melissa. It's just a bad day. That's all. Um, so to expand a little bit further on the beneficial microsomia and golden hair, I actually explained a little bit last time. Um, so I look at it as a spectrum. I compare it to the autism Asperger spectrum. I also compare it to from the mental health people. Um, I compare it to the what's the word I'm looking for? The oh gosh, what's the term? What's the term? What's the term? I'm thinking. Oh, I wish Marissa would share because Marissa would know. The schizophrenia. So schizophrenia and schizoaffective, those are all spectrums. Um, so I have the lesser form of golden harp, but it's harder to say. So it's actually pronounced superficial, which means half, microsomia, and that means small. So like what we talked about last night, it affects my ear. Not only does it affect my ear in such a way to where it's not normal, but I have hearing loss. So if my videos, I kept asking, can you guys hear me? And that's because I may not have heard myself or may not have heard Marissa. And then also I noticed that I talk really fast. So much so that I had food stamps and there was nothing more that they could do. That was actually the last special ad that I had was the food stamp. And I know I'm sitting in the dark, but I have my room, so um, we'll just have to deal with it right now because my room's stuck and I can't have light on, so I apologize. Um, so yeah, that's another thing too that I deal with my things. Today was bad, and I think that attributed to the to my bad day. Um, so I I don't know when I want this channel to move out. And basically like I'm ready to start to cry, and I don't. I'm not crying because I don't cry because I'm depressed. But I'm also happy. Um, that I found Marissa and her channel, and her community was so welcoming last night, and that was so amazing. And no one was mean, no one was disrespectful. Everyone had great questions. I continue to watch the live back, not just to watch it, but to make sure that I hit all the talking points. And one thing, because we were kind of like all over the place, there's just so much to talk about. We were so all over the place that the one thing that I didn't talk about was my mom's passing, and I did leave a comment on the video about this, was that I blamed myself for many, and still have some guilt of my mom's passing, and there's several reasons. One, she had pancreatic cancer, and it started on the tail. And once it hits that tail, it, you know, it's not good at all. So like I said last night, she went in on the Monday, she passed away on the Sunday. Because of running tests, and I had to. Oh, hey, yeah. By the way, I'm sporting. And I'll link her channel down below. Um, it is wow. What's her channel name? Basically, Christina is one of them, but there's Christina Randall. So I'll link both of her channels down below. But this is her merch. Um, y'all already know. I just love her videos. Like, she's another true crime. I also like Jessica Khan. I think she does a really good job on her videos, and I just love watching them both. So I will link both of their channels down below just so that you guys are aware of them. And if you're into that, then go follow them, go watch them. I vouch for them. Christina, she's hilarious, cracks me up. And them two together, they have me rolling, like legit rolling. So one thing, so what I was saying is that they were running tests on my mom, um, and they, I would have to go in the hospital, and maybe this is another reason why I don't sleep well, is I would legit have to go up at 6 o'clock in the morning, go down to the hospital. We didn't live that far from the hospital. I actually, the hospital that she was at, I actually did my internship there for my master's, so I knew all the staff. They took really good care of her. They looked after her. Um, I would, you know, I had special privileges, like legit. I could just walk into like the nurse's station and just be like, I'm just having a really hard time. I don't know what to do. And then also she was very lucky because she was the only person on the floor. Um, I don't I don't know how that happened, but this hospital in Trenton, Michigan, on the progressive care unit, only had one person on that floor, and that was my mom. One or two. I think on her side, I think she was the only one. And she had wonderful nurses. In fact, one of them was oh gosh, what was that show? The weight loss one. Uh, it was oh gosh, it was one of the weight loss ones. So she talked with my mom. She was there for her. You know, she would go into my mom's room late at night and sleep with her. Just you know, just be there for her when I normally could not be there. Now I should preface this to say that my brother he actually was in South Dakota at this time. So not only was I hey, I see two people. I can't see who pops in, so I apologize. So if you want to leave a comment for this video up, then I can say, hey, I'm just trying to build my channel, just to see where it can go. So yeah, and I digress. I go off on tangents. You know, like I think Melissa and I are a lot of ways with that. Um, but so my brother at the time he was in South Dakota, so and I didn't know how much to tell him. And to this day, I regret not telling him to come home. That he needed to come home, especially after what we went through with losing my dad. But I also say that to say that I was following my mom's wishes. She didn't want my brother to know. She was trying to hide everything from me. But like I said, I would show up at the hospital before the doctors got there. I actually, at this time, I was an in-home case manager, so I was able to work from the hospital room at the time. I literally like made all of my appointments around the hospital just so because I had a laptop, I could do my progress notes and stuff like that from there. So I literally tried to move it to where I was not that far away. If need be. And then, like I said, my mom, she had a male friend, and then my aunt and cousins were all there, always coming to visit. So there was someone constantly with her. Except for I eventually went home. Oh, and at this time too, I had just gotten a new puppy. I had gotten a Cocker Spaniel, so beautiful. I had to rehome her. Um, she was mine, and then we also had a Pomeranian who sadly I had to put down shortly before I moved out. His name was Chewie after Chewbacca from Star Wars. He was actually my brother's and his ex-girlfriend's dog, but I was home a lot more than my brother was, so he actually became my dog. So he was very territorial. I loved him, but I do not recommend Pomeranians. They're cute dogs, but they are just little Jack dogs. Like we could not have anyone over in the house, or we couldn't have. He suffered from separation anxiety. I mean, I don't know. Oh, this dog would literally like cry if we were all downstairs and he was upstairs. Couldn't quite turn him. He kept crying and crying and crying. So I don't know where my brother got him from. I don't know what breeder, but I don't recommend Pomeranians. Um, so I had gotten a new puppy, so I was trying to train her and work with her, work with him. the dog, I mean, and then also trying to take care of my mom. So that was very difficult. And when I got to the hospital, it was at 6 a.m. one day, and I found out that they had found cancer in my mom's liver and lungs. I did not know the source of the cancer. They took 2 liters of fluid from her lung. They were just biopsying it, but I did find out that it was liver lung, not liver, but there was cancer in her lung. And then also her liver as well. And because that's what my dad died of, the liver lung kidney, she did not want me to know, and she did not want me to tell my brother. So, at that point, I had went and gotten FMLA. I stunk because I had used some of my FMLA as well when I had the surgery in February. And then prior to that, when I was telling Molly, I call her Molly and Melissa. I hope she doesn't mind. When I was telling Melissa that my tooth buckled, well, when it buckled, that actually set us back because we had to go in and repair it. So that was done in October of that of the year before she passed. Um, and I recovered quick. Like we had an awful work for 4 weeks. I went back to work in 2.5, and this is from jaw surgery. And he legit like replaced took out my upper jaw and put it back. And I just had so much, and I do apologize. I know I'm not the most attractive for YouTube, and so I do apologize that I have missing teeth and all that. Um, this disorder, man, I know I'm going all over the place. This disorder, it affects your tooth. I ain't gonna lie. It really does. It really messes with them. And I think the ones that I have them now and they're broken, they're only in there because they're hooked up to something. That's legit why I have them in. Um, so, um, so if I cover my mouth, I apologize. I know I do that, but I am self-conscious about that. Um, so anyway, so I had the FMLA back in October, and then I had it again in February. Now, mind you, I didn't start the surgeries until, like I said to Melissa, I was 19 when I stopped, and then I started back up in my 30s. Let me tell you, this time it was so much easier. So much easier, because he loved the fact that, and I'll see if I can put a picture up of my my jaw. I know it's on my Facebook. I don't know if it's on my Insta. But I do know that it's on my Facebook. But would he would put a lot of time and a lot of effort to me, and he actually knew my former doctor. He ran into him at a conference, and I couldn't do the surgeries until I knew that my former doctor, the one before this one, I consider the names because they're retired. Dr. Hitchcock, I know what Dr. Hitchcock. Before Dr. Hitchcock, I had twins, and I was with him for years. I mean, years upon years. Um, I was very protected at that office. And what I mean by that, I had a wonderful nurse who looked after me. I still keep in contact with her and a lot. Just let her know what's going on. I went to her house, blah blah blah. So once I knew that Dr. Quinlan was in California or retired, I didn't Facebook friends with them, so hey, it's all good. Once I knew that he retired, I actually, and I had a problem with one more tooth. I found my dentist, and my dentist is also retired. Oh my gosh, he was amazing. He helped me find Dr. Hitchcock from Michigan Oil Surgeons. I highly recommend them. Um, so anyway, so he when it buckled, and I think it actually buckled again. I just had to find a new doctor. Um, but when it buckled, that set it back. So I'm looking at, like every 3 months I was having surgery on my face, but it feel um not every 3 months, maybe every 6 months I was having surgery, and I had Blue Cross Blue Shield at the time, so it was good insurance. I paid for it out of pocket because I knew it was a good insurance. But right now I have to figure out what I'm gonna do. Um, so he did a good job. I mean, it doesn't look like it now, but he really did. Number one, I gained a lot of weight, so my face looks fuller. Number two, my teeth are all but gone, missing I need to get those fixed. Either dentures or implants. I don't know. I'm almost 40. I don't know what to do, guys. Leave your comments down below on what you think I should go with, dentures or implants. The thing with my jaw though, it's so small. Anyways, I'm doing off culture again. So he did that in October, and then in March was when he not March, but February is when he took my upper jaw, took it out, moved it over, and then put it back on, and then lengthened this. Now, mind you, this was in the middle of February, and at this time, I kind of knew that there was something wrong with my mom. And I kept telling her, we need to go to the bathroom, we need to go to the bathroom, we need to go to the doctor. And like I was telling Marissa last night that she took care of me before she took care of herself. And that's what a mom does. That legit is what a mom does. Um, I was her baby. When I was she didn't put me down until I was 1 year old. So I literally did not walk until I was one. I'm trying to on the Patreon. I'm trying to share. I'm looking into my phone right now. Um, I'm trying to share pictures on her Patreon, but I don't think I can. So I'm gonna have to send them to her, and then she can post them. Um, so I kept telling her. So she ended up going to the doctor on Monday, and then he said, "Okay, you need to go to the hospital now." And he said, "You want to go to this hospital or this hospital?" And my mom knew the one in Trenton, because that's where I did my internship at, and that's also where she had both of her knee replacements done. I literally picked out contacted her doctor, um, all that good stuff. Like I knew who I wanted her doctor to be, and then she ended up with, lo and behold, a staph infection. Now, if you guys don't know from the live last night, I had opened up about the fact that I had a staph infection on the back. So when my mom's news started to leak, I was like, Mom, we went to Dr. Athens because we had a staph infection, and lo and behold, she did 2 days later. She was back in the operating room, and he fixed it. And we met with infectious disease doc, who I'm friends with on Facebook as well. I highly recommend him. But then roll around to um the year that she passed. It's been 6 years, so whatever 6 years is, I don't keep count anymore. I just can't, and my brain is just so filled. Um, so she goes to the hospital. They're running all these tests on her. I found out that it was, you know, cancer. But what I didn't know is she had bone cancer. She had, the cancer had metastasized all the way all throughout her body. And what happened with that was is they went in to do a hip replacement. Dr. Athens did, and he literally came down to her room um, at 12 o'clock at night, the night before the surgery, and was just, telling my mom and I was, I don't think it was 12, I think it was later than that, that, she can't go home, that she has to have this done, was literally they could not, release her, like it was unsafe for her to be released without having the surgery. And this is where I blame myself, um, is because I felt like I forced her to have the surgery, and I said, "Mom, you're not coming home." Now, keep in, we live in a brownstone where you literally walk in on the garage level, then you go up a flight of stairs, and that's the main level, and then the next flight of stairs is our bedrooms. So it was unsafe for her to come home without her having this surgery. So the morning of, I go into the hospital before the surgery. Give her, I'm there with her, spending time with her. But as I'm walking in, I see this person, and I'm like, dude, she is like coughing and sneezing. I hope she's not a doctor. Well, lo and behold, she was an anesthesiologist for my mom. Yeah, legit. She was an anesthesiologist for my mom. But she was super nice. I don't hold that against her. I think probably just allergies, and I'm assuming that, I hope that she washed her hands. I'm pretty sure that she did. But there, gosh, this is just going on, and I apologize. Um, so I told my mom, I'm like, no, you have to have the surgery. Like, I'm literally fighting with her male friends who has no say in what she does. And I'm like, no, she's having this surgery. She has to have this. If we want her to come home, she has to have it. Now, she signed off on the paperwork, so ultimately it was her decision. But I felt that I pushed her. I felt like I pushed her into having the surgery. Because I was like, Mom, you're not coming home until we get this taken care of. And then the surgery went well. The doctor came out. who did tell me that, or who did tell us that the cancer had spread, that they did not realize how bad it was. And I apologize, I'm literally going to start crying now. But that they didn't tell us, that they didn't know how bad the cancer was. She, they didn't put her completely under, so she had a nerve block, and it was, a twilight anesthesia. So she was talking and carrying on and all that good stuff during the surgery. But she, at the end, the surgery went well. The doctor came out and she had the lung. All of a sudden, he walked out, we seen him leave. And she, they called him back to the OR. I'm like, oh crap. I'm like, something happened. He comes out and he said, I'm so sorry. He goes, the surgery went well. Every, we got the hip in, everything looked good, it looked great. She threw a blood clot to her lung. And when she, not to just her lung, but her good lung. So they had to put her, they had to intubate her immediately. Um, at this point, I just started bawling. I was like, oh my gosh. And he basically said that she's not gonna live very long. After this, that it was just, and mind you, the surgery was the day that she died. This was done on Sunday. So I have like people at church. I'm like, well, I'll get there. So then the anesthesia just comes out, and this is when she's in her room, and they have her intubated, and I will never forget that sight of seeing my mom intubated, and I know now why my dad told my mom not to bring us to the hospital anymore, because we didn't want us to see him like that. I we were kids. We were just kids when that happened. Um, but I saw her intubated, and she was on life support, and I was like, I was at I'm like, she doesn't want this. She does not want to do have life support, and um, she did not want. We knew that from my dad. And I just started bawling. Like and I'm not a crier. Like I hold my emotions in. Um, so I just started bawling my eyes out. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so the anesthesiologist says that they can do a heart block. I can do a heart block. But that would buy her time. But she literally said that I'm just trying to do this live because I know that there's something I'm speaking right now that maybe we may or may not be watching. So I just decided to go live with this story. So but she actually said to us that she was questioning why they were doing the surgery, why they were going ahead with the surgery, because in her chart it was noted all over that there was just cancer all over her body, all over her body. I mean, I just think of that one Grey's Anatomy episode where they open up that patient and all of a sudden, it's just like scrubbed. And that's what I'm imagining happening. is that they opened her up and it just took on a life of its own. And the anesthesiologist said, technically I can't tell you what to do, but I wouldn't do it. So she would, it would buy her a couple of months, but she she's not gonna do it. Like she'll be in pain, she'll be miserable. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I looked at my mom and I'm like, do we have to do shit? I want to get on life support. And unfortunately, for those of you, and I say this to parents of children who are adults, please, and heaven, and God bless you if you were married and you lost your mate, however that was. But if you have adult children, I beg of you, I'm pleading with you to update your will, to reflect the current situation. My mom's will was done before my dad died. Yeah, back when we were kids, and I begged her. I'm like, Mom, please update your will. Please update your will, because heaven forbid something happened and I don't know what to do. I mean, we talked about it, but I'm like, and as I was telling Marissa last night, like, she kind of knew what was going on, because she was teaching me things, she was helping me to adult. I paid rent. I paid rent to my mom to help her out because she had retired, when before the school system, kind of took a turn. So she was teaching me how to adult. She was in the process. I don't know how to cook. I legit don't. Like, I live on fast food and frozen dinners. I don't know how to cook. Yeah. Um. So I so I was thrown into adulthood, and we stopped. And I was like, "That's it. I'm like, we can't have her go through this." So we signed no medical intervention. If something should happen, just run it through, so to speak. And I literally was like, I was telling my mom's church friend that she grew up with, I'm like, if you want to see her, you need to come now. I'm like, you have to come now. The whole family came. And I went down to, I was in the room, and she was still with us at that point. And I literally went down, hadn't even left the room, um, for like, just to go get the family friend and bring them up. She passed away. As soon as I walked out of the room, she passed away. She was trying to live on her own. The doctor came in, and because we had the no medical intervention, do not resuscitate, they let her go. And by the time I got back up there, she was gone. Um, and just that whole time frame, um, even though she died in the hospital, we had to take her funeral home. Ugh, losing her was so difficult, but having to plan, I don't know how I got through it. Like, I literally was just moving through the motions. Literally. So the funeral home came and picked her up. I had to go and identify her body by myself. And then we had to have her cremated, so she's not even buried with my dad. Cause, my gosh, you guys, whenever your end of life plans, please, please make arrangements because we are not promised tomorrow. We are not promised tomorrow. So I beg of you, if you can, please make a plan. Please, please, please. Um, it, it would have cost like $1,000 just to open up the plot to play with my dad. So now we have two plots at a cemetery that I don't know can be transferred. We have my mom's and then my grandfather's. I don't know if they can be transferred over. I don't know. So for those of you that work in that field, let me know how we would go about getting those transferred. I don't know. It's just my brother and he has a girlfriend, so I don't even know. I think we're just out of luck on that one. And I'm not making light of the situation. It's just, like I was telling Marissa, I don't do anything normal, so it is what it is. Um, I actually feel better, you guys. I really do, even though I'm talking to myself and I'm in the dark, and I was able to tell you the story of how I lost my mom. And my dad is very similar. I'll go into that. I think someone on Melissa's channel had a question about if I've ever been to Bollywood. And I'm gonna tag. I'm gonna leave Melissa's link down below. So I'm gonna tag her in this video, and then if she wants to do another collab, I can definitely tell you the story of how I lost my dad because that and that is another interesting one. I don't if I'm gonna talk with her because I don't want to put it up here and then tell her, hey, let's go live and talk about some sadness that I've had and talk about me and my dad. Um, so I don't want to put that up for and then us do that. So I really, want to get with her and see if that's something that we can work on. If we can't, then I will definitely go into that. Um, but so that is how I lost my mom, and I guess I just needed to get this out. And also too, if you're on Facebook, please follow Taylor Lynn. That's I was mentioning to Melissa last night about how I found Taylor and her story, not her story, her truth. Her truth is amazing. She's been through a lot. I'm not gonna go into detail, but I will say that I found her because she did lose her mom. I literally did not know that she was everyone's granddaughter for about 3 months. after I started following her. I don't even know how I found out. But I promote her and church with her all the time. So them two, they're awesome to us. So yeah, so I apologize that this is a 45-minute video of me just rambling. But I felt the need that I needed to get this story out there, and then hopefully, it will touch someone, because like Marissa said last night, somebody somewhere is gonna look at this and they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And just from the subscriptions that I had last night, I had a couple of comments that I replied to, and thank you guys so much for subscribing. I don't know, because number one, I'm a small channel, and number two, I'm not monetized. I cannot look at my analytics. So thank you so much to those of you that have subscribed. I appreciate it so much. So give this video a thumbs up. And I'm sorry I'm long-winded. I haven't even had dinner yet. I just felt the need to come back on. I'm just trying to see because there's no one in the chat. Because I think of what's going on tonight. So yeah, so thank you for bearing with me, and I hope you guys can hear me. I hope that you guys understood what I was saying. If you have questions, leave them in the comments down below. And I'm gonna link all the channels that I talked about tonight, so that you can go follow them. And again, this isn't to say anything bad. I think because I talked about my mom last night that put me in a funk. That was that, and nothing against. And I want to completely put this out there, like in no way, shape, or form am I how do in no way, shape, or form am I saying that this happened because of last night. It did not. The funk that I'm in because of the time of the year that it is. You guys think about it. It's the time that my dad's birthday. It's the time that I lost my dad. It's my mom's birthday. It's the holidays. The weather's changing. I don't know about Marissa, but here in Michigan, it's cold. Like, she's talking about sitting in a sweatshirt. I'm like, girl, please, I wear it all the time. I will wear it. Even in the summer, I wear sweats. They are so comfortable. So comfortable. Um, but it's just, I'm just in the funk. So please know that I'm not saying that the live last night, and I just felt like I needed to come back on and explain that a little bit further. That the live last night did this. I think it just was a combination of the time of the year, lack of sleep, and just like the emotional high that I had, and I think literally I was just coming down. So I just think that I'm not balanced, and I'm not saying that I have certain mental health disorders, but I know that I'm not clinically balanced. So I think that it's just all encompassing and everything. So a big thank you to Marissa. A big thank you to Save Robin because I did watch his video. I didn't finish it, but I did watch it. And the video was so inspiring. So those two, a huge, huge thank you. You guys have helped more and more ways than one. And then I did try to give you guys lunches. I hope that's okay. If you want me to take them off, I can. Um, but I just felt that I trust you guys, and my gut is always like 100% on point. So, with that being said, I want to thank you guys for bearing with me. And again, I'm going to go in and edit this video, and I will leave those links down below. And please reach out to someone if you are having um, depression. Mental health is so important. So if you have feelings of depression or anxiety, just reach out to someone. Definitely, because that this doing I'm here is helping me. So just reach out to someone, just talk to someone, just even if it's say, hey, I'm having a bad day. I love that That's basically what I did with Melissa today. I'm like, hey, having a bad day. Thank you so much for the live last night. It was fun. So that helped. It really did. So I encourage you to your homework is to if you're feeling depressed or anxious, reach out to someone. Don't suffer alone. Two, make those end of okay. Let me reword this. Make those final arrangements for funerals and burials, wills, and all that. I beg of you. I beg of you. And I have to do mine, so I'm, I have to figure out what I'm gonna do too. Um, so yeah, and especially since I live alone. Oh my gosh. But I think my brother, I think I have him as the Mexican. But yeah, I have to look into that. I have to do something about that. Um, so yeah, so leave your like, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and thank you guys so much. And Melissa and Silvazi, if you guys want me to edit this video, I will. But thank you guys so much. Have a good night. Bye. Always stay golden. I think that's gonna be my thing. Always stay golden.